But you know, history starts from whatever the news cycle is, not from reality. And you have people who get up there and they're real good at it. They can recite all the history of the founding fathers, dates, names, all this stuff. But do they believe, do they even understand what was going on there? It's not about that you can recite all the dates that these things occurred, that you can recite all the numbers for the Federalist Papers. Do you understand the intent of those papers? Not the interpretation, the intent. And there's a problem in our Constitution. We got a Congress that sits up there. They have surrounded the Constitution with bogus laws, which they had no authority to make in the first place, because they know they could never get a constitutional amendment passed by two-thirds, ratified by two-thirds of states. So we got sucked into this precedent of law that they've established that was unconstitutional. Does that make sense to you? Congress has established laws. And I'm talking the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives, Senate went along with it. Presidents have signed them. They took the Constitution and they threw it basically in the trash can. They took our Constitution in the United States. They didn't like what they saw. They don't like it, how it prohibited them. And they basically took it and said, we're going to come up with our own program. And they started establishing laws. And it started back in the 1900s. Thanks to Woodrow Wilson. And then so many took bits and pieces and tailored these things to suit their needs. The whole process of the New Deal and Social Security and Medicare. I hate to leave the Constitution in the trash can here because this is a sacred document to me. All these things were unconstitutional. But were there some circumstances in periods of time when some of these things might have been necessary? Maybe. But when we look at history, did we avoid dealing with the real problem? Did we avoid dealing with why, how, and who was involved in the Depression, causing the Great Depression, the failure of banks, the run on the stock market? No. We figured out ways to avoid dealing with them. People. These are individuals, groups of people. They figured out ways to avoid dealing directly with them, because in a lot of cases, I always say follow the money. I guarantee you, there were people that thought they were good, honest representatives, congressmen, senators, even president. And when they sat down at the end of the day, somebody came in and said, hey, Mr. President, you really don't want to get on there and start trashing them guys because you took money from them. They helped get you in office. They supported that legislature. They helped you with that bill. They got you the votes you needed. Where did this start? It didn't start out this way. There was some lobbying, there was a party power and politics going on in the beginning. But we still had a respect, and there was still vigilance over the Constitution. It was pretty new. It was a sacred document. It was very important to people. It meant something. It means nothing to those people up there today. It is rhetoric. It is passé cliche when it's to their benefit to sum up the almighty power of the Constitution of the United States of America. Haven't heard a Republican talk about the Constitution since Reagan, and all of a sudden now they're all constitutionalists. I mean, even the Democrats, like I said, Pelosi had the guts to bring up the Constitution. She normally, when it's mentioned to her, laughs and sneers mockingly, like it's some outdated document that no longer fits the time. Well, that Constitution, I think, will fit from now until the end of time. The problem is that her and their agenda doesn't fit the Constitution. It's not a matter of making the Constitution fit us, the people, or their agenda. It's a matter of them not fitting in with the Constitution. It doesn't fulfill their needs. And we don't really care about their needs. That's not what we sent them there for. We did not send them there. We did not send them there to be the gatekeepers. We didn't send them there to give us things through the government. Ah, it's a nice idea. If we took and sensibly and honestly had a government of representation within the House of Representatives, because that's key. You know, for appeal the 16th and 17th Amendment, send the Senate home, let them be dealt with by the governors and appointed by the governor and the legislature, and deal only with matters of the state, the individual state. They're key players now. They've created a power structure for themselves. They have inserted themselves into this structure. We need to send them back home. If we realigned ourselves with the Constitution, and for example, we established a state of taxes that was based on consumption, like the founders knew was the best way to go. Because taxing people by income is never going to be equitable. You know, it would be simple to say, let's take 10% of everybody's taxes who makes above whatever the determined level of poverty is. But even that's scary. I mean, you sit there and think about the poverty levels of $14,000. My grandfather would be rolling over his grave right now, worked 30 years at a steel mill. Of course, it was a different time. People were more honest. But think about it. $14,000. I mean, and you look and you hate to stereotype people. You look at these people that are second and third generation in the welfare system, and take advantage of entitlement programs that were not meant to be generational. They were not meant to be handed over and handed down. But train the next generation in your family to get welfare and food stamps and HUD housing. It's the same thing. How much better is that than the congressman who's sitting there grooming his son or daughter to take his seat, and then turns around and like, I've been here 20 years, I can get my pension now. I'm having heart trouble. I can't finish out my term. How about appointing my son? And then the son might get reelected, or daughter. And it would create a legacy seat. That's scary. I mean, we had a revolution to stop that kind of stuff. That creates a hierarchy and a monarchy within the system. The system's not built that way. It's been prostituted and corrupted to be that way, but it's not built that way. And of course, we let it happen. Now we got to stop it. We really have to stop this. You really got to look around. You got to get out of the mode of, I don't want to split the vote. That is one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in my life. We're going to split the vote. Not if enough Americans get out there and really vote from their heart and from an aware, educated standpoint. If we don't stop this now, it's not a matter of revolution or people revolting or bullets flying or any of that. It's a matter of the United States of America will be bankrupt and will no longer exist. We got an idiot in the White House continues to talk about a post-American world. What the hell is that? Post-American world? Post-World War II, America rebuilt the world.